Well, let's take you straight to Berlin. France 24's Nick Spicer is standing by. Nick, Germany then still unconvinced that this measure, or this latest measure, I should say, that we've seen Spain and Italy do is necessary.
No, Karl Lauterbach, our health minister here in Germany, says that routine tests before you fly or upon arrival are not yet necessary, but that Germany would continue to see to monitor whether any new variants were detected amongst people who did fall ill in Germany. It's worth pointing out that the BF Omicron variant that is prevalent in China is already present in Europe, and the vaccines that we're using here in Europe can already address that. That said, the Minister Lauterbach is speaking with his French counterpart today. They both said there's a need for a European-wide policy, because the situation as it stands now is if you land in one European country, if it's in that famous Schengen travel zone, you can move around without any other country asking you for a test. And as I think you were mentioning, there are some countries in Europe that are asking for mandatory tests, notably Italy, which was extremely hard hit by the COVID pandemic, and Spain as well.
I mean, Nick, as you said there, Spain and Italy agree. Germany doesn't for the time being. How long could this kind of lack of coordination between EU nations continue?
Well, just last Thursday, the Italian Prime Minister asked the EU to come up with some kind of Europe-wide policy, and that idea was rejected. However, European health ministers are slated to meet next week. And if you just think of the situation in China, when the wait-and-see approach is somewhat justified for now, but I'm not sure it will last very long. Travel that has been sort of bottled up for 3 years in China, that has had a zero COVID policy, unique in the world, is now opening up and is clocking tens of millions of new cases a day. Basically, in 6 days, it's got all the equivalent of all of Italy infected. So there's a lot of fear that these people who will begin traveling, there were just a sort of rewind 1.5 million travelers from China in Europe in 2019. So you can have that many people coming on board, will bring over some kind of new variant, and the conditions in China with all of these new cases will lead to the creation of new variants, because as you know, when you have a lot of people getting infected, there can be mutations and so on. So I think that is really the fear. So the wait and see approach in Europe, the takeaway is perhaps that the health ministers are gathering to come up with some kind of, I would imagine, monitoring system, particularly targeting new variants. That's the big fear before any kind of Europe-wide policy is announced.
All right, Nick, for us in Berlin, thank you.